Hi everyone, welcome to Go Classes. In this lecture, we will continue our discussion of combinatorics. So we are covering combinatorics complete summary, and this is combinatorics complete summary part 3. The first two parts you can find in the pinned comment, also in the description. If you want discrete mathematics, complete discrete mathematics summary lectures, gate PYQ and revision playlist, then you can search Go Classes Discrete Mathematics on YouTube, or you can find the link in the pinned comment or in the description. So you can check it out. In the previous lecture, we have studied permutation and combination. We have seen that in the permutation, order matters, order of chosen elements that matter, and in the combination, the order of chosen elements does not matter. So permutation combination we have already seen in the previous lecture. You can see that in any counting problem, if the order is relevant, if the order of chosen elements, if that matters, then we can think about permutation or arrangements. And I told you that permutation is just a fancy application of product rule. So whenever there is any question related to permutation, whenever there is any question related to arrangements, or whenever the order of elements matter, then you can apply the rule of product, means the product rule you can apply. And when the order of elements does not matter, the order of chosen elements does not matter, then combination will come into play. Okay, then we will apply combination. So this permutation combination, the difference of permutation and combination, this everything related to this we have already seen in the previous lecture. Now let's move on. The next topic, that is permutation with repetition. So far we have seen permutations without repetition, permutations of distinct elements. This is what we have seen so far. Now we need to study what is permutation with repetition. If you remember, I told you that permutation is basically just a copy of product rule. Permutation is basically just a fancy application of product rule. So all the permutation related questions, all the arrangement related questions, or all the questions where the order of chosen elements matter, these questions you can easily solve using the product rule. So this is a note that we have already seen in the previous lecture, that permutation, or I can say arrangement, that is just a fancy application of product rule. Whenever the order of elements matter, whenever the order of elements is relevant, we can think about permutation. And remember, whenever there is a permutation related question, you can apply the product rule and you can solve it. So let's solve some questions related to permutations with repetition. With practice, this topic will become very clear. So let's solve this question. How many strings of length 5 can be formed from the uppercase letters of English alphabet? So very simple question here. You have English alphabet, and from English alphabet we want strings of length 5. So tell me, when you are creating strings of length 5, then the permutation is allowed or not by default? In the English words, or I can say in the English string, we want 5 length English word. So the permutation, the repetition of elements, that is allowed or not? Yes, by default in the English words, the repetition of elements is allowed. For example, this word you can see, for example, consider this word COOK. This word, this is the English word, and there is repetition here. So by default in the English words, the repetition of elements, the repetition of characters is allowed. So here the question is very simple. We want strings of length 5 with repetition. Okay, this is what we want. Strings of length 5. Okay, and the repetition is allowed. So what will be the answer? That is very simple. For the first position, there are 26 choices. You can put any alphabet here, any English alphabet you can put here from A to Z. From A to Z. Let me assume, let me put D here. Now you tell me, after this task is over, I have put the first letter. Now for the second letter, how many choices are there? Again, there are 26 choices, because again I can put any letter here. Correct? In the English word, by default permutation is, by default repetition is allowed. So again, if I want, I can put D, no problem. Okay, so there are 26 choices for this position also. Again, there are 26 choices, 26 choices, 26 choices for all these positions. For example, here I can put C, B, and here I can put, for example, Z. Okay, is this clear? Very simple. So you can see what will be the answer. The answer, how many 5 length English words I can create, that will be 26 power 5. So basically you are just applying the product rule here. So this is permutation with repetition. Do you agree with me? Why this is permutation? Because order matters. Definitely order matters, right? Because you can see this word, for example, RAM. This word is different from this word ARM. ARM and RAM. These two English words, they are different. So definitely order matters. In the English word, order matters. So because order matters, so this is a permutation problem. So this is a permutation problem. And remember, because the repetition is allowed by default in the English word, repetition of letters is allowed. So this is permutation with repetition. And whenever there is a permutation problem, then which method you can apply to solve it? Whenever there is a permutation problem, then tell me which method can you apply to solve it? Whenever you see a permutation problem, then you can apply the product rule. So here you can see we have applied the product rule. Whenever you see a permutation related problem, you can easily apply the product rule and you can solve it. So this is a permutation with repetition problem. Do you agree? I can say this is a permutation with repetition problem. I hope you understood. Let's solve this question. How many 3-digit numbers can be formed only using the digits 1, 2? Tell me one thing. When you have 3-digit numbers, then by default the repetition is allowed or not in the numbers? When you like, for example, 5-digit numbers, 7-digit numbers, then by default in the number, the repetition of digits, that is by default allowed or not? Let me know. Yes, that is by default allowed. Because for example, consider this 998. This is a 3-digit number. 999, this is a 3-digit number. By default in the number, in any number, by default the repetition of digits is allowed. So here also you can see the repetition of digits will be there actually, because you want 3-digit number and you can only use 2 digits. So definitely repetition will be there, and by default in the numbers, repetition of digits, that is allowed. And tell me one thing, order matters or not in this question? Yes, order matters, because you can easily see that this 998, this is different from 899. So order matters. Do you agree? For example, this 998, this is different from 989. So definitely order matters. So this is a permutation problem, permutation with repetition problem. Understood? So that is very simple, very easily you can solve it. We want 3-digit numbers, 3-digit numbers. Now, because we want numbers, so definitely repetition allowed. Repetition of digits allowed by default. Okay. And the second thing, you can see that the order matters in the number. In the number, order matters. Why order matters? Because you can easily see that 112, that will be different from 121. Okay, so the order matters, repetition of digits is allowed because order matters. So this is permutation problem, permutation with repetition problem. Agree? So finally, this problem, if you notice, this is basically permutation with repetition problem. But you don't have to worry. You can easily just apply the product rule and you can solve it. Whenever there is any permutation problem, you can just apply the product rule and you can solve it. So what we want, how many letters, how many digits we want? 3-digit numbers we want. Okay, so this is the 3-digit number that we are creating. Now you can see for every position there are two choices, because we can only use the digit 1, 2. So there are two choices for every position. I can put either 1 or 2. For example, let me put 1. Now here also there are two choices. I can put anything. For example, let me put again 1. And here also there are two choices. I can put either 1 or 2, anything I can put. For example, let me put 2. So you can easily see that 2 into 2 into 2, that will be 8. So the final answer, the answer will be what? Answer will be 2 power 3. Okay. So easily you can handle the permutation with repetition problems with the help of product rule. Let's solve this question. How many strings of length R can be formed from the uppercase letters of English alphabet? First of all, you tell me this is a permutation problem or not. You want strings of length R. So definitely order matters. In the English word, string means word. String, that simply means word. I told you. In the English words, in the strings, the order of elements matter. Okay. Also, in the string, by default, repetition is allowed. So we want English words of length R. So how many English words of length R we can create? This is a permutation with repetition problem. So you can solve it using the product rule very easily. We want strings of length R. So you can see 1, 2, 3. These are the positions. You can see for the position 1, how many choices are there? There are 26 choices. I can put anything from A to Z. For example, let me put here J. Okay. Now you can see for the second position, again, there are 26 choices. Again, we can put anything from A to Z. For example, let me put here N. Okay. So like this. For every position, there are 26 choices. For every position, for the last position also, there are 26 choices. So ultimately, how many words, how many strings we can create of length R? So that will be, the answer will be 26 power R. Okay, 26 into 26 and so on. So that will be 26 power R. Okay, understood? Now let me give you a formula. Easily, we can convert this into a formula. So let's write down the note. Actually, did you like the product rule or not? Instead of remembering some formula, you can just apply the product rule and you can solve it. Do you agree with me? If I give you some formula, will you apply that or will you just apply the product rule? You can just apply the product rule. It will give you more intuition. You will not make any mistake. But if you want, I can give you a formula also. So let's see the note. The note is like this. If you have total and distinct elements, total we have n distinct elements, and from these n distinct elements, what we want to do from these, we want to permute our distinct elements. Then our distinct elements means without repetition. So you tell me how many ways will be there? There are total n distinct elements, and from them we want to permute our distinct elements means without repetition. No repetition. We want to permute our distinct elements. Then what will be the number of ways? Number of ways that will be NPR, that you already know. N permute R. N permute R. This formula you can apply because here ultimately these are basically distinct. Okay, correct. So the number of ways, that will be NPR, that you already know. That if you have total n distinct people, let's assume there are total n distinct elements or people, and from these n distinct people you want to permute. Permute means arrange. So the order of chosen elements matter. So you want to permute 8 distinct people. So that you can do in how many ways? That is NPR. From n you permute R elements. So this is without repetition. This we already know. Now the next is what we want to do. There are total n distinct elements, that is fine. We want to permute R elements with repetition. We want to permute R elements, remember. R elements we want to permute, but with repetition. Now repetition is allowed. Now the repetition is allowed. Means, for example, all these R elements, they can be same also. Okay, so the repetition is allowed now. Now in this case, tell me how many ways will be there? Very easy, just apply the product rule. You will get your formula. There are total n distinct elements. Let's assume these n distinct elements are A1 to AN. Okay, these are the n distinct elements A1, A2, and so on AN. These are the n distinct elements. Now we want to permute R elements from them with the repetition. So how many positions are there? Total R positions are there because we want to permute how many? You just think about this, that we want to permute R elements. So these are the positions 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on R. R positions are there. So tell me, for the first position, how many choices are there? The number of ways, the number of choices for the first position. Any of these R elements can I put here? Yes, I can put any of these n elements here. So n choices here. Now once I put some element here, for example, let me put A2. Now you tell me, after putting this, how many choices for the second position? Because repetition is allowed, with repetition, we are doing with repetition. So it simply means that in the second position, again, I can put any of them. Do you agree with me? Again, there are total n choices. For the third position also n choices, and for the last position also there are n choices, because repetition is allowed. If you want, you can do repetition also. For example, here I can put a1, here I can put a2, here I can put, for example, a3, like that. Remember, repetition is allowed. You can see a2, a2. So tell me, what will be the number of ways from this product rule? You can easily find what will be the number of ways. So that is number of ways, that will be n power r. Okay, so this is the formula. So you can see this formula we are getting from the product rule. If you want, you can remember this formula also, or you can simply apply the product rule. So basically this formula we are getting, remember, number of ways that we get from n distinct elements. You want to permute r elements with repetition. Repetition is allowed. So what will be the number of ways? Number of ways will be n power r. Okay, and remember the proof is by product rule. Okay, we have seen the proof by product rule. That's it. So this is the formula. I want to know one thing. Will you remember this formula? Will you apply this formula, or will you apply the product rule? That is better. Yes or no? The product rule, that is better. But anyway, this is the formula that we are getting. If you have n distinct elements and you want to permute r elements with repetition, repetition is allowed, then the number of ways will be n power r. So you can see, from a set of n objects, r permutations, means we want to permute r elements. So r permutations from a set of n objects with repetition allowed. The repetition is allowed, then the answer will be n power r. And if repetition is not allowed, then npr, then answer will be npr. The next topic is permutation with repeated elements. When some elements are repeated, then how many arrangements will be possible? Let's see this example. Count the number of permutations of these words AB, AA, ABC, AAB. Let's count the number of permutations of these words. For example, tell me, for this AB, how many permutations will be there? The number of permutations, that will be 2. AB, BA. These are the 2 permutations. Do you agree with me? 2 permutations are there. Okay, correct. So very easy. And what about this AA? How many permutations will be there? When you repeated element, here we have repeated element, right? AA, these are same. These two A's, these are basically same A's, I can say. Okay, or I can say these are indistinguishable. This is the word we can use, indistinguishable. Indistinguishable A's. Indistinguishable A's. Indistinguishable simply means same. Focus on this word. Indistinguishable. Indistinguishable. This word always simply means that you cannot distinguish them. Indistinguishable means they are basically same. Means they are basically identical. Okay. So this is the word indistinguishable. This simply means same or identical. Now you can see we have repeated elements here. A. So how many permutations will be there? There will be only one permutation you can create, right? Okay, only this is the one permutation you can create. One permutation. Only one permutation is there. So you can see when there are repeated elements, then the number of permutations is getting decreased. Okay, you have no repeated elements here. So number of permutations was 2. Here you have repeated elements. The only one permutation is there, that is AA. Okay, so when there is repeated elements, then the number of permutations that is getting decreased. For example, if you have ABC, then how many permutations will be there? There will be total 8 3 factorial. 3 factorial means 6 permutations will be there. Correct? These are the 6 permutations. You can create like ABC, ACB, BAC, BCA, CAB, CBA. Okay, so there are total 3 factorial means 6 permutations are there. Now here you notice there are repeated elements. We have AAB, repeated elements. So tell me how many permutations will be there here? Here you can easily see we have this permutation AAB or ABA or BAA. Only 3 permutations are there. Do you agree with me? So you can see when there are repeated elements, here we have repeated elements like AA. These are the repeated elements. So whenever there are repeated elements, the number of permutations is getting decreased. So this is our topic, that how many permutations will be there of a word if there are some repeated elements. Permutations of a word with repeated elements. This is also very easy. You can solve it using the product rule very easily. So let's solve this question. How many different strings can be made by reordering the letters of the word success? So you can see this is the word SUCCESS. We want to reorder the letters of this word. Then how many total different strings we can create if we reorder the letters of this word? Here you can easily see total how many positions are there. Tell me one thing. Total 7 positions are there. Do you agree? There are total 7 positions. And remember, in these 7 positions, we need to put 3s. There are 2c. See, these 3s, this is the repeated element. S, 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 3s. There are 2c. There is 1 u. There is 1 e. Okay, correct? Now let's see, if we reorder the elements, if we reorder the letters of this word, then how many different permutations, different strings can we create? So this is actually very easy. Ultimately, we want total 7 positions. Remember, you can simply apply the product rule here. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, you can see there are total 7 positions. Okay, these are the 7 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So total 7 positions are there. You can easily solve this question with the product rule. Tell me, from these 7 positions, we need 3 positions for S. Do you agree with me? Because there are 3 copies of S. 3s are there, or I can say 3 copies of S. So from these 7 positions, what I will do, from these 7 positions, I will choose 3 positions. 3 positions I am choosing. Let's assume I am choosing these 3 positions. So remember, from 7 positions, I am choosing 3 positions. For whom? For S. Because there are total 3s. So 3 copies of S. So from 7 positions, I am choosing 3 positions for S. Now tell me, once I choose 3 positions, like these 3 positions are chosen, how many ways are there to put S? How many ways can I put S? From these 7 positions, I've already chosen 3 positions. These are the 3 positions I've chosen. You can see 7C3. These many ways I can choose 3 positions from 7 positions for S, for 3 copies of S. Now, after I choose these 3 positions, how many ways are there to put S? Because all the S are same. So there is only one way. Do you agree with me? So multiplied by 1. Do you agree that there is only one way to put S? So now we have put S. Now S is over. Now after putting S, what we can do? What we need to do? From the remaining 4 positions, now 4 positions are remaining. From the remaining 4 positions, we need 2 positions for C. So there are 4 positions remaining. I will select 2 positions for C. For C. Let me assume that I am selecting these 2 positions, this position, this position. Now tell me, once I choose 2 positions for C, how many ways are there to put C here? There is only one way, because both the C are same. Both the C are same, identical. So there is only one way to put C in these positions. After that, tell me what we need to do. Now only 2 positions are remaining. From these 2 positions, I need 1 position for U. Do you agree with me? So remember, there are now for U, what will happen? There are 2 positions remaining. I will select 1 position for U. Let's assume I am selecting this position. This position I am selecting for U. Then tell me, how many ways I can put U here? Only one way. Okay, I will just put U here. That's it. Now, tell me about E. For E, what will happen? There is only 1 position remaining. So from 1 position, I will choose 1 position for E, and there I will put E. There is only one way. I will put E here. Correct? Okay. So I will put E here. That's it. So this is the answer. Tell me, did you understand? We are just using the product rule, nothing else. We are not using any formula. We are just using the logic. Many students, they by heart this type of formula, that 3s are there, 2c are there, 1u is there, 1e is there. Many students, you may have seen, they by heart this type of formula, that okay, 7 factorial divided by 3 factorial, 2 factorial, 1 factorial, 1 factorial. This is the answer they get. They apply a by hearted formula. This is the by hearted formula. But we are not using any formula. We are just using the logic. Did you understand this answer that we got? Let me know. Once you understood this answer, now let me tell you that if you simplify this answer, then what we are going to get. So remember, this is the answer we got. From 7 positions, we are choosing 3 positions for S. From the remaining 4 positions, we are choosing 2 positions for C. From the remaining 2 positions, we are choosing 1 position for U. And from remaining 1 position, we are choosing 1 position for E. If you simplify this, what you are going to get 7C3, that is simply 7 factorial divided by 3 factorial, 4 factorial multiplied by 4C2, that is 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial, 2 factorial. 2C1, that is 2 factorial divided by 1 factorial, 1 factorial. 1 factorial divided by 1 factorial, 0 factorial. Yes or no? Now, many things will cancel out. You can see this 4 factorial, this will cancel out. This 2 factorial will cancel out. So finally, what is the answer? What is the value we are getting? You can see this is what we are getting, 7 factorial divided by 3 factorial, 2 factorial, 1 factorial, 1 factorial. Okay. Here, 1 factorial, 1 factorial. So you can see this 0 factorial will become 1, that you already know. Okay, you can cancel this 1 factorial with 1 factorial. So in the below, you will get this 0 factorial, this will become 1. So anyway, you are getting 7 factorial divided by 3 factorial, 2 factorial, 1 factorial, 1 factorial. Okay, understood? Let me know. So finally, your answer is basically 7 factorial divided by 3 factorial, 2 factorial. This is the final answer that you got. I hope you understood. Now, actually, you can notice one thing. The same answer you can got, there is a formula that we can apply here, because here you have success. So you can see there are total 3S, there are 2C, 1E, 1U. So the same answer actually you can get if you apply this formula. There is this formula that total how many elements are there? Total 7 elements are there, right? So 7 factorial divided by 3 elements of the same type. So divided by 3 factorial, 2 elements of same type, 2 factorial, 1 element of same type, 1 factorial, 1 element of same type, 1 factorial. So using this formula also you can get this answer. But you can also apply the logic. This is the logic and this is the formula. I hope you understood both of them. Let's solve this question. There are 3A and 2B. So how many arrangements, how many permutations we can create? There are 3A and there are 2B. We want to make permutations of this. So you can see on your screen, these are all the permutations that are possible. For example, we can create this permutation 3A, 2B, or AA, BAB, or AB, double AB, or B triple B, B triple AB, or A, BBA, and so on. You can see. Now let's count how many permutations without writing all of them. Can we count how many permutations will be there? Yes, very easily you can count. Either you can apply the formula or you can apply the method. So what is the method? Let's see the method number 1. What that will be? There are total 5 positions, correct? Because there are 3A or 3A and 2B. So total 5 positions are there. Now from these 5 positions, what I will do? I will select 3 positions for A. Correct? Okay, for A, I am selecting 3 positions. Let me select these 3 positions for A. Now, once I select these 3 positions for A, how many ways I can put A? Because all the 3A are same, so there is only one way to put A here. Okay, that's it. Now, only 2 positions are remaining, and these 2 positions I need to give to 2B. So for B, what I will do? For B, from the 2 remaining positions, I will select 2 positions. Okay, and in these two positions, I will put B. There is only one way to put B. So your answer will be what? That will be 5C3 multiplied by 2C2. That is simply same as 5C3, because 2C2 that will be 1. So the answer will be 5C3. 5C3 is same as 5C2 because NCR equal to NCN minus R. So like this is the method number 1. Or you can apply the formula directly. Method number 2, that is the formula you can apply. You have 3 copies of A and 2 copies of B. So the answer will be total you have 5 factorial, 5 characters are there, divided by 3 copies of the same element and 2 copies of another element. So 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial, 2 factorial. This is the formula. You can apply this formula or you can apply the method. But you understood both of them, that is important. So this is the conclusion. Let me tell you, let me give you a formula. if you have total n objects, let's see a formula that you have total n objects, n elements are there, but in these n elements, remember, n1 element, n1 of type 1, okay, means for example n1 copies of type 1 elements, you have n2 copies of type 2, and so on. There are total nk copies of type k, okay, but there is a condition here, that is this n1 plus n2 plus nk, this should be equal to the total n, okay, because there are total n objects. In these n objects, remember, n1 copies of type 1 person, n2 copies of type 2 elements, nk copies of type k elements. There is a condition that such that n1 plus n2 plus nk, this summation, this becomes equal to n. This should happen, okay, this should happen. Now in this situation, what will be the number of permutations? What will be the number of permutations of these n objects? How many permutations of these n objects? So the number of permutations of these n objects, that will be n factorial divided by n1 factorial, n2 factorial, and so on, nk factorial, divided by n1 factorial, n2 factorial, and so on, nk factorial. This will be the answer. I hope you understood. Is this clear? Very simple. So this is the idea. N factorial divided by n1 factorial, n2 factorial, and so on, nk factorial. Let's solve this question. How many different strings can be made from the letters of Mississippi using all the letters? We need to use all the letters. So basically we need to find how many different arrangements, how many different orderings can be created of the word Mississippi. So this question you can solve by multiple methods. Let's see method number 1 and 2. So tell me, what is method number 1? That is the logic, or I can say product rule. And what is method number 2? What is method number 2? That is the formula. That is the direct formula. So you can apply the direct formula also. Okay, so let's see. First, let's see the direct formula. That is, you can see there is one m here. How many i's are there? Tell me. You can see total 4 I are there. How many s are there? Total 4 s are there. Okay, how many p are there? Total 2 p are there. So that's it. So total 11 letters are there. Okay, and this is the distribution. You can see the summation of these. Summation of this, that is 11. So your answer will be what? That will be 11 factorial divided by 1 factorial, 4 factorial, 4 factorial, 2 factorial. This will be the final answer that you will get. This is the number of arrangements of the word Mississippi. 11 factorial divided by 1 factorial, 4 factorial, 4 factorial into 2 factorial. The method number 1, that is logic, or I can say the product rule. So here what we are going to do, total 11 positions are there, that you already know. In the word Mississippi, there are total 11 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now you can see there are total 11 positions. So from these 11 positions, we want 4 positions for I. There are total 11 positions. I will choose 4 positions here. 1, 2, remember these are the positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, 11. Okay. Now what I will do, from these 11 positions, I will choose 4 positions for I. This is for I. Okay. In these 4 positions, I can put I. Okay. There is only one way, because all the I are same. These are all the I. These are same. So there is only one way to put I in these 4 positions. Now what I will do, from the remaining 7 positions, I will choose 4 positions for what? For S. Then what I will do, in these positions, I will put S. There is only one way to put S in these 4 positions. Then what I will do, from the remaining 3 positions, I will choose 2 positions for P. In these positions, I will put P. Now there is only one position remaining. In that position, I will put M. So this is 4m. If you calculate this value, you will get the same answer as this. So if you simplify this, you will get 11 factorial divided by 4 factorial, 4 factorial, 2 factorial. Very simple. Let's solve this question. How many different strings can be created, can be made from the letters of abracadabra using all the letters? We need to use all the letters. So basically, we need to arrange all these letters in different orders. And how many different orders are possible? This same question you can solve by multiple methods. The method number 1, that is logic. You can apply the product rule. Or what is the method number 2? That is the formula. So let's see the method number 2, direct formula. First of all, in this word abracadabra, how many A are there? You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 5 A's are there. Next, how many B's are there? B. 2 B's are there. How many R are there? R, R. 2 R are there. A we have counted. How many C? Only one C is there. How many D? We have not counted D. Only one D is there. A we have counted, B we have counted, R we have counted, A we have counted. Okay. So you can see this is the setting you can see of abracadabra. This is the classification of characters here in this word. So total how many letters are there? You can see that is 4, 4. So 11 letters are there. This total must be equal to 11. You can see this is 9, 9 plus 2, 11. Yes, that is 11. So the answer will be what? What will be the number of arrangements of this word abracadabra? That will be 11 factorial divided by 5 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 1 factorial, 1 factorial. 1 factorial value is equal to 1. That is, so answer will be 11 factorial divided by 5 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial. So this is the answer using the formula. You can also apply the product rule. The logic is basically nothing but product rule. So let's apply the product rule quickly. Total 11 positions are there. Correct? 11. 1, 2, 3, and so on. 11. 11 positions are there. What I will do? From these 11 positions, I will choose 5 positions for A, because we have total 5 copies of A. So from 11 positions, I will choose 5 positions. There I will put A. There is only one way to put A in these 5 positions. Then from the remaining 6 positions, I will choose 2 positions for B. In these 2 positions, I will put B. From the remaining 4 positions, I will choose 2 positions for R. From the remaining 2 positions, I will choose 1 position for C. And from the remaining 1 position, I will choose 1 position for D. Okay, so that's it. If you calculate this value, you will get the same answer. You will get 11 factorial divided by 5 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial. Very simple. Let's solve GATE 1990 question. The number of ways in which 5 A's, 5 B's, 5 C's can be arranged in a row. What is that? How many ways are there such that we can arrange 5 A's, 5 B's, 5 C's in a row? So the answer you can easily find using multiple ways. So there are 2 methods to solve this question. What is the method number 1? That is the logic. You can apply the logic without any formula. Logic simply means product rule. You can apply the product rule and you can solve it without any formula. But what is the formula? That is method number 2. So method number 2, that is, you can use a formula to solve this question. There is a direct formula for this type of questions. So first of all, let me tell you the method number 2, that is formula, direct formula. So you have total 5 A's, 5 B's are there, and 5 C's are there. We want to arrange them in a row. So how many orders are possible? So it is very simple. Total we have 15. Total 15 elements are there. So the answer will be 15 factorial divided by 5 of type A, 5 of type B, 5 of type C. So it will be 5 factorial, 5 factorial, 5 factorial. So this is the direct formula that you can apply. Very simple. This will be the answer. Okay, so your answer for this question, that will be option A. But this same question you can solve without any formula. you can just apply the product rule, permutation combination concept, or product rule you can apply. You can see total, we have total 15 positions because we have 5A, 5B, 5C. So if you notice, there are total 15 positions because we want to arrange them in a line. So total 15 positions are there, 1, 2, 3, and so on, 14, 15. These are the 15 positions. Now, from these 15 positions, what I can do? I can choose 5 positions for A. There are 15 positions available. I can choose 5 positions for A. These are the 5 positions that I'm choosing for A. Okay, because there are 5 A's. So you can see from these 15 positions, I'm choosing 5 positions for A. In these 5 positions, I can put A because all the A's are same. So I can put A's in only one way because the 5 positions that I've chosen, there I will directly put A. Okay, so there is only one way to put A in these 5 positions that are chosen for A. From the remaining 10 positions, 10 positions are remaining. I will choose 5 positions for B. In these 5 positions, I can put B. Okay, because all the B's are same. So there is only one way to put B in these chosen 5 positions for B. From the remaining 5 positions, I will choose 5 positions for C. Okay, in these 5 positions, I will put C because all the C's are same. So there is only one way to put C in these 5 positions. So you can see this value you will get if you apply the product rule. This is the answer you will get. If you simplify it, basically using the method number 1, what is the answer we are getting? We are getting this, that from 15 positions, we are choosing 5 positions for A. From remaining 10 positions, we are choosing 5 positions for B. From the remaining 5 positions, we are choosing 5 positions for C. This 5C5, this is basically 1. Okay. So this will be what? This will be 15 factorial divided by 5 factorial, 10 factorial, multiplied by, what is 10C5? That is 10 factorial divided by 5 factorial, 5 factorial. So if you see this 10 factorial cancel out. So the answer that you are getting, that is 15 factorial divided by 5 factorial, 5 factorial, 5 factorial. So this is the method. Without any formula, if you want to solve it, then you can easily solve it by this method. So the answer that you will get, that is option A. Very simple. Let's solve this question. The number of arrangements of letters in this word Tallahassee. So how many arrangements are possible? So the answer is very simple. You can just apply the direct formula here. Remember, there is one T here. How many A are there? Total 3 A are there. How many L are there? 2 L are there. How many H? One H is there. 2 S are there, and 2 E are there. Okay. So total how many letters are there? You can see one. This becomes 6. 6 and 5, 11. Correct. So the answer will be what? That will be 11 factorial divided by 1 factorial will become 1. So you can simply do 3 factorial, 2 factorial, 1 factorial will become 1. So 2 factorial, 2 factorial. This will be the final answer. Let's solve this question. This is interesting question. The arrangements of letters in this word Tallahassee, that is 11 factorial divided by 3 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 1 factorial, 1 factorial. This we have already seen. Okay. But the question is asking, how many of these arrangements have no adjacent A's? Basically, total 3 A's that we have, you cannot put them adjacently. You cannot put them side by side. Okay, with no adjacent A. Basically, no 2 A's are together. You cannot put like this. You cannot put double A, you cannot put triple A. These things are not allowed. Okay, with no adjacent A. So this template we have already done. If you remember, very easily you can solve it because remember, we are saying that no 2 A's are together. Correct? No adjacent A's. So what this simply means, no 2 A's are together. No 2 A's are together. Correct? Yes or no? None of them are together. So this template actually we have already done. What we will do? First we will arrange the remaining letters. And then in the gaps, we will arrange these A's. Correct? So first, let's arrange the remaining letters. How many remaining letters are there? You can see there is one T in this Tallahassee. There is one T. Forget about A. there are 2L, there is 1H, there are 2S, and there are 2E. So first, these are the remaining. These are the remaining. Yes or no? Other than A. So first we arrange them. This is what we are going to do. The remaining things we are going to arrange first. So tell me, if you arrange these in a row, in a line, then how many ways will be there? That is very simple. How many total? How many are there? 1 plus 2 plus 1, that is 4. 4 plus 4, that is 8. So you can see the number of ways will be 8 factorial divided by 1 factorial becomes 1, 2 factorial, 1 factorial will become 1, 2 factorial, 2 factorial. So you can see this is the value that you will get. 8 factorial divided by 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial. Okay. So the remaining elements we have arranged. Now you tell me how many gaps are there. Let me know. Once you arrange all the remaining elements, then how many gaps will be there? You can easily see there is T, there are L, there is H, there are two S, and there are two E. So you can see how many gaps are there. So there will be total 9 gaps. Yes or no? Because total 8 elements are there. So total 9 gaps will be there. So now you can see there will be 9 gaps. In these 9 gaps, I can put 3 A's. Here I will put 3 A's. Okay, in the 9 gaps, I am going to put 3 A's. So tell me, what will be the final answer? The answer that you are going to get. The final answer will be, this is already there. 8 factorial divided by 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial is already there. Multiplied by, in the 9 gaps, from the 9 gaps, I will choose 3 gaps. There are total 9 gaps available. I will choose 3 gaps for A. In those 3 gaps, for example, let me choose these 3 gaps. In these 3 gaps, I will put A's, but all the A's are same. So there is only one way to put A's. So this will be the final answer. Did you understand? Please tell me. Let me know. So remember the answer that we got. That is very simple. First, we are getting 8 factorial divided by 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial. This is for the remaining elements. Remaining elements arrangement. Correct? All the remaining elements we are arranging. Then there will be total 9 gaps. From these 9 gaps, we will choose 3 gaps for A. For A's. But once these gaps are chosen, then because all the gaps are all the A's are same, so there is only one way to put A's. So that will be your final answer. I hope you understood. Is this question clear to everyone? Very simple question, right? But very interesting. So you can see in the 9 gaps, we can choose 3 gaps and there we can put A's. So this will be your answer. Let's solve this question. How many arrangements of the letters in Mississippi have no consecutive S? We want to arrange the letters of this word Mississippi. How many arrangements will be there such that there is no consecutive S? So this question is very similar to the previous question that we have done. So let's solve it. Because we want no consecutive S. So what we need to do? No consecutive S simply. So first we will arrange the remaining elements and then in the gaps we will put these S. Yes or no? It's like this, no two S together. So this template actually we have already seen when few elements are never together. So in this template, what we do? First we arrange the remaining elements other than S. And then in the gaps we can put S. So tell me first, what are the remaining elements? You can see there is 1M, there are 4I, there are 4S, forget about S, and there are 2P. Okay, so these are the remaining elements. Yes. So first we are going to arrange them. Arrange these remaining elements. So how many ways we can arrange these remaining elements? That will be total 7, 1, 4, 2. So that is 7. So that will be 7 factorial divided by 1 factorial will become 1, 4 factorial, 2 factorial. So this is the number of ways to arrange the remaining elements. Now after the arrangement of the remaining elements, how many gaps will be there? Tell me. If you arrange this, then how many gaps will be there? So because there are total 7, so there will be total 8 gaps. Okay, from these 8 gaps, we will choose 4 gaps to put S, because there are total 4 S. So from these 8 gaps, we are going to choose 4 S. Okay, 4 S. Now because all the S are same, so there is only one way to put S in these 4 gaps. So from 8 gaps, we will choose 4 gaps. In these 4 chosen gaps, there is only one way to put all the S, because all the S are same. So what will be the final answer? The final answer will be 7 factorial divided by 4 factorial 2 factorial. This is for the remaining elements. Multiplied by, there will be 8 gaps. We will choose 4 gaps for S. So this will be the answer. Okay, very easy. The next topic we will study, that is binomial theorem. Binomial theorem simply means that expansion of a plus b power n. Let's see the definition of binomial first. What is binomial? You can call it binomial or you can call it binomial expression. This is simply the summation of two terms. For example, x plus y. This is called binomial because it is summation of two terms. Remember, these two terms, they can be constant or they can be variable or they can be product of constant and variable. For example, you can see x plus y. Here x is variable, here 1 is constant. So I told you that these two terms, they can be constant or variable or product of constants and variables. For example, this 3x, this is product of constant and variable. So this is a term, plus 2y, this is a term. You can see the summation of two terms, that is called binomial. So here we have summation of two terms, here we have summation of two terms. What about this? Can I call it binomial? This a minus b, can I call it binomial? Yes, this is also binomial, but remember, the binomial means summation of two terms. Do we have summation of two terms here? Yes, I can write it like this, a plus minus b. So remember, this is summation of two terms, and these two terms are a comma minus b. So very easy, that binomial, or I can say binomial expression, that is simply summation of two terms like x plus y. These two terms, they can be constant or variable or product of constants and variables. For example, you can see this a minus b. You can consider this like this, a plus minus b. Like this you can consider. Now let's see what is binomial theorem. Binomial theorem simply means expansion of this expression x plus y power n, where n is a positive integer. For example, n can be 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 11, 100, and so on. So you can see expansion of x plus y power n. This is called binomial theorem. For example, in your school life, you have seen a plus b power 2. What is the expansion of a plus b square? That is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So this is the expansion of a plus b power 2. So if this n is any positive integer, for example, if I ask you what is a plus b power 10, then what will be the expansion? If I ask you what is a plus b power 3, what will be the expansion? So the expansion of a x plus y power n, this is called binomial theorem. You can see from your school life, we already know a plus b power 1, that is a plus b, that is same as a plus b. A plus b square, that is a square plus 2ab plus b square. We also know a plus b cube, that is a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube. These we remember, that you already remember, yes or no? You must remember these three. But we don't have to remember a plus b power 4. We don't have to remember a plus b power 5. But the point is that we remember a plus b square, we remember a plus b cube. But similarly, we can find the expansion of a plus b power 4. This will be the expansion. We don't have to remember it. We can similarly find the expansion of a plus b power 5. This will be the expansion of a plus b power 5. Again, we don't have to remember it, but we have to find it. How this formula, how this expansion is coming, how this expansion is coming. So let's find, and then we will find what is a plus b power n, where n can be any positive integer. Okay. First, we will understand the expansion of a plus b power 3. You already know that a plus b power 3, that is a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube. But how? From where this expansion is coming? Do we have to remember it, or can we find it? Can we derive it? you can easily derive it. So first you understand the expansion of a plus b power 3. We have a plus b power 3. This power 3, I can simply write it that this is multiplication of a plus b, a plus b, a plus b. 3 times, yes or no? Now, let me call it first, let me call it second, let me call it third. So you can see this is a plus b, this is a plus b, this is a plus b. I am calling it 1, 2, 3. These are the three terms that we got. Three factors. Okay, these are the three factors we got. Now, let's see how to multiply a plus b with a plus b with a plus b. This is the multiplication that we need to do. So the multiplication is very simple. How to multiply these three factors? This is very simple. From here we can take a or b. Either a can come or b can come. From here we can take a or b. From here we can take a or b. For example, if we take from here a, from here a, from here a, then what we are going to do? From all these factors, if we take a, then what we are going to do? We are going to get a. That will become a cube. Or what we can do? From this factor, from the first factor we can take a, from the second factor we can take a, and from the third factor we can take b. Or what we can do? From here we can take a, from here b, from here a. Yes or no? A, B, A. Or what we can do? From here we can take B, and from these two factors we can take A. Correct? Yes or no? And so on. You can see here we have no B, here we have 1B. Similarly, we can have 2B. If I want 2B, then what I will do? From two factors I will take B, and from one factor I will take A. So for example, from here I can take A, from here I can take BB. Or what I can do? From here I can take A, from these two I can take BB. Or what I can do? From here I can take A, from here I can take BB. So it will be like BBA. Or what I can do? You can see here there is no B, here there is 1B, here there is 2B. Or I can do from all these three factors I can take BBB. So that's it. Only these are possible. So finally this expression we got that a cube plus, remember these are same. Notice this, they are same. So it's like 3a square b. Okay, because this is a square b, a square b, a square b. So 3a square b plus. You can notice that these are also same. These are 3 because 3 terms. So 3b square a plus b cube. Okay, so this is how we get the expansion of a plus b power 3. I hope you understood. Now, one thing you can easily understand that in this a plus b power 3, you multiply a plus b, a plus b, a plus b, 3 times you multiply them. Then you can notice that in every term that you create, there will be some b's, some a's. Yes or no? From some of these factors, a will come, and from the remaining, b will come. So you tell me one thing. If 2b are coming, then how many a will come? Let me know. If 2b are coming, let's assume from here b is coming, from here b is coming, then how many a will come? Then from here a will come. So if 2b are coming, then only one a will come. If 1a is coming, then 2b will come. If 3a are coming, then 0b will come. But the point is, how many a's and how many b's total are coming? That will be 3. Yes or no? Here you can see the total number of a comma b, that is 3 here also, because here there is no b and there are 3a. So total number of a comma b, that is 3. Here also total number of a comma b is 3. Total number of a comma b is 3. I hope you understood. So let's understand this a plus b power 3. This is basically the multiplication of a plus b, a plus b, a plus b. Let me call it factor 1, factor 2, factor 3. Let me call it 1, 2, 3. Now, very easily, just understand few very basic things. How every term will look like. In each term, what will happen? In each term, you can notice that some a's will come, that you already know, and some b's will come. Agree? Now you tell me, if two a's are coming, then how many b's will come? Only one, because there are total 3 factors, because we have a plus b power 3. So if two a's are coming from these two factors, if a is coming, then from here b will come, because from every factor either a will come or b will come. So you can see total number of a comma b, that will be 3. So if 2a are coming, then 1b will come. The point is, if we have a power r, if r a's are coming, then how many b's will come? That will be 3 minus r, because the number of a plus number of b, that will be 3. So this is the first observation that in every term you can notice that the number of A's plus the number of B's, that will be equal to 3. Okay, how many A's will be there, how many B's will be there? That will be 3. So if we have R A's, then number of B's will be 3 minus R. Very simple. Okay, now this is the first observation. What is the second observation? You tell me, in how many ways can we create this term? For example, if I want a power 1, B power 2, in how many ways can I create this term? This is your ABB. Or I can say 1A I want and 2B I want. So how many ways are there to create this term? How many ways? How many ways to create it? Tell me. Very simple. Remember, from these three factors, one of them will give me A and the remaining two will give me B. Yes or no? So how many ways are there? That is very simple. There are three factors total. So from these three factors, I will choose which of them will give me A, because one of them will give me A. I have A power 1, B power 2. So from these three factors, one of them will give me A. So from these three factors, I will choose one which will give me A. Maybe this will give me A, these will give me B, or maybe this will give me A, these will give me B, or maybe this will give me A, these two will give me B. But the point is, from the three factors, these are the three factors, I will choose one which will give me A. So this will give me A, and automatically the remaining two will give me B, because every factor will either give A or it will give B. So if one factor is giving A, then the remaining two factors will give B. So you can see that this term A power 1, B power 2, how many ways we can create it? That is 3C1, or I can say 3. So 3 ways we can create it. That is the reason you can easily see that when you see the expansion of A plus B power 3, then how many times you are seeing this A power 1, B power 2? This you can see 3 times. Yes or no? A power 1, B power 2, you can see 3 times. Very simple. So these are the small observations that you can create, that you can see. Now look at this term, A power R, B power 3 minus R. Here you can notice one thing. What will be the range of R? Remember, the R can be 0. If no term is giving you A, then all the terms will give you B. Agree? If none of these factors is giving you A, then all of them will give you B. So if you take R equal to 0, then you will get A power 0, B power 3. Means basically all the factors are giving you B. What is the maximum value of R? All the factors can give you A. So the maximum value of R will be 3. So R will be 0 to 3, because the number of A's that you can get, that will be from 0 to 3. Either no factor will give you A, or all the factors can give you A. So this is the range of R. You tell me one thing. How many ways I can create this term where I have R A's and B will be 3 minus R? So how many ways can I create this term? Very simple. Total 3 factors are there. From these 3 factors, you choose which R will give you A, because R of them will give you A and the remaining will give you B. So from these 3 factors, you choose which R will give you A and the remaining will automatically give you B. So that's it. So you can see that this type of terms you will get. This is a term in the expansion. In the expansion, this will be a term. Okay, when you do the expansion, then this term you will get, and the R will be equal to 0 to 3. So now you can easily see that this A plus B power 3, this will be equal to what? In the expansion, if you see the expansion, remember this is a term that you are getting, A power R, then B power will be 3 minus R, that you already know, because number of A plus number of B in every term, that will be equal to 3. Okay, and how many times you will get this term? How many ways you can get this term? So that is very simple. From 3 factors, you can choose R, they will give you A, and the remaining will give you B. So this is the term in the factor, sorry, in the expansion, this is the term. And here R range, that is 0 to 3. So if you open it, then you can easily get the expansion. Okay, so you can basically, if you put R equal to 0, so you can basically write like this, that summation of this R is going from 0 to 3. Okay, now if you open it, what you will get? If you put R equal to 0, what you will get? R equal to 0 means 3C0, A power 0, B power 3. Or if I put R equal to 1, 3C1, a power 1, b power 2, or if I put r equal to 3, r equal to 2, 3c2, a power 2, b power 1, or if I put r equal to 3, then 3c3, a power 3, and b power 0. B power 0 is equal to 1. So this is what we got. You can see this becomes b cube, this becomes a cube. You can see 3a b square and 3a square b. So very easy. I hope you understood. Let's understand the expansion of a plus b power 5. This is also very easy. A plus b power 5. Then here remember, basically we are multiplying a plus b total 5 times. Yes or no? A plus b multiplied by 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 a plus b. Okay, correct. Now here you can easily notice that total how many factors we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So total 5 factors we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correct. Okay, now you can easily notice that every factor will give you either a or b, a or b, a or b. So total how many a comma b you will get? Total will be 5. Yes or no? If some of these factors are giving you a, let's assume these 3 factors are giving a, then the remaining 2 will give me b. So in every term, the number of a's plus number of b's, that will be 5. Correct? If 3 of them are giving me a, then 2 will give me b. If 4 of them are giving me a, then 1 of them will give me b. So the number of a plus number of b, that will always be equal to 5. Okay, now you can easily see that which type of term you are going to get. We are going to get something like this. If r of them, there are total 5 factors. If r of them are giving me a, then the remaining will give me b. Okay, so the number of b, that will be 5 minus r. Now, what is the range of r? You can see this range of r, that can be from 0 to 5, because minimum I can get 0a. If no factor is giving me a, then all the factors are giving me b. So r can be minimum 0. Maximum r can be 5, because all of them, all these factors can give me a. Then I will get 5 a's and 0 b's. So if I get 5 a's, then I will get 0 b's. If I get 4 a's, then I will get 1 b. If I get 0 a, then I will get 5 b, and so on. So you can see a power r, from these 5, r will give me a, and the remaining will give me b. Now you tell me how many this type of terms are possible. This type of how many terms can I create? Very simple. You just see which are giving you a, because remember, out of these five factors, total r a's are you getting? Yes or no? You are getting r a's. So you just see from these 5 factors which of them are giving you a's. So from these 5 factors, I will choose r factors, and they will give me a. The remaining will give me b. So that's it. So this is how every term of the expansion will look like. So remember, this is the term in the expansion. This is the term in the expansion. Okay, and remember, this is the range. R is from 0 to 5. This is the range. So finally, what is the formula you will get? So you can see that formula you will get, that will be like this. Summation. R is already going from 0 to 5. If you are getting a power r, then you are getting b power 5 minus r. And how many this type of terms you can create? That will be from these 5, r will give you a, and the remaining will give you b. Okay, so that's it. This is the answer. Okay, if you open it, you will get, you can easily see, you will get a power 5, 5a power 4b, 10a cube b square, 10a square b cube, 10a b power 4, and b power 5. Okay, you can easily check. But I hope you understood the idea. See, very simple. If you have a plus b power 5, then it is basically very simple. You can write it like this, that it is like this: a power r, so b power 5 minus r. Okay, and how many this type of terms you can get? That is, there are total 5. From these 5 factors, r will give you a, the remaining will give you b. Okay, and remember the range of r. This r is going from 0 to 5. So that's it. Now if you open it, basically if you put r equal to 0, because the range of r is from 0 to 5, if you put r equal to 0, what you are going to get? I will get 5c0, a power 0. A power 0 is simply 1. So 5c0, b power 5, plus, if I put r equal to 1, I will get a b power 4. If I put r equal to 2, I will get a square b power 3. If I put r equal to 3, I will get a cube b power 2. Yes or no? If I put r equal to 4, I will get a power 4b. And if I put r equal to 5, I will get a power 5. B power 0, that is 1. So you can see this is the expansion I got. This is the expansion. In this expansion, how many terms are there? Let me know. In this expansion, how many terms are there? Total 6 terms will be there because r is going from 0 to 5. Okay, notice one thing. This r is going from 0 to 5. 0 to 5, total 6 terms will be there. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total 6 terms are there. In this expansion, there are total 6 terms. Because this r is going from 0 to 5. So from 0 to 5, there are total 6 terms. Very simple. I hope you understood. Let's understand the expansion of a plus b power n, where n is a positive integer. So this is very simple. A plus b power n, basically it is what? It is like multiplication of a plus b total n times. A plus b multiplied by a plus b multiplied by a plus b. How many times? Total n times. These are the factors that you got. Okay, like factor 1, factor 2, factor 3, factor 5, factor n. So these are the factors you got. Now here you can easily see that if you multiply these a plus b, a plus b, a plus b, if you multiply them, then what you will get? From some of them you will get a, from the remaining you will get b. Basically every factor can give you either a or b, a or b, a or b, and so on. So when you multiply all of them, then some of these factors will give you a, the remaining will give you b. Okay, so how many total number of a's and b's you are going to get? So the total number of a's plus b's, that will be equal to n. Okay, because some of them will give you a, the remaining will give you b. So it will happen something like this, that you will get something like this, that a power r. Okay, if r of them are giving you a, okay, maybe r of them are giving a, then the remaining, how many remaining? Then the remaining n minus r will give you b. So this type of terms you are going to get. And what is the range of r? You can see this r can be from 0 to n. If none of them is giving you a, then all are giving you b. So you can see r can be 0, means you are not getting any a, you are getting all b's. The maximum value of r can be n. If all of them are giving you a, then none of them is giving you b. So you can see the range of r, that is 0 to n. I hope you understood. Now how many this type of terms you can create? To create this type of term, what should happen? That r of these factors should give you a, and the remaining should give you b. So from these n factors, there are n factors. From these n factors, I can choose r, which will give me a, and the remaining will automatically give me b. So that's it. So this type of term you will get in the expansion. This is the term in expansion. Okay, and the range of r, that is equal to, that is 0 to n. I hope you understood. So in the expansion, this is the term that you are getting. Very simple. So tell me, what will be the expansion of a plus b power n? That is very simple. That will be this type of term you are getting, a power r, so b power n minus r. Okay, how many this type of terms you can create? How many ways are there to create this type of term? That is, from n factors you can choose r, which will give you a, the remaining will give you b, and you know the range of r. The range of r, that is from 0 to n. Okay, so the expansion that you will get, something like this. If I put r equal to 0, then I will get nc0 b power n plus. If I put r equal to 1, then I will get a b power n minus 1. If I put r equal to 2, I will get a square b power n minus 2, and so on, and so on. Plus, if I put r equal to n, then I will get a power n. Okay, is this clear? So this is the expansion that we are going to get. I hope you understood. Very simple. Okay. Now, just let's quickly see what is a plus b power 4. Let's quickly see what that will be. Remember, very easily you can do this, and this will be, you can see every term will be like this, that you have some of them, total 4 factors are there. Yes or no? A plus b, a plus b, a plus b, a plus b. Total 4 factors are there. Some of them will give you r. Sorry, some of these factors will give you a, and some of them will give you b. Let's assume R of them are giving you A, so the remaining 4 minus R will give you B. The range of R you already know, that is 0 to 4. Okay, but how many ways I can create this term? What will be the coefficient of this term? For this term, what will be the coefficient? There are total 4 factors. From these 4 factors, I can choose R factors, which will give me A. The remaining will give me B. Okay, and remember, the range of R is going from 0 to 4. So if you open it, then you are going to get something like this. You will get 4C0 multiplied by B power 4 plus 4C1 A B power 3 plus 4C2 A square B square plus 4C3 A power 3 B power 1 plus 4C4 A power 4. Okay, understood? Now, one more important thing actually. This is really very important thing. You know that if I have A plus B, that is same as B plus A. Okay, correct. A plus B is same as B plus A. Second thing, you understand that if I have A plus B power n, that is same as B plus A power n. Correct. Okay, and another interesting thing, that is if you have NCR, that is same as NCn minus R. Okay, for example, if you have NC1, that is same as NCn minus 1. If you have NC0, that is same as NCn. So like this, NCR is equal to NCn minus R, and A plus B power n, that is same as B plus A power n. So what I want to tell you, from these two, A plus B power n equal to B plus A power n. So the order you can change. Or similarly here, NCR equal to NCn minus R. So what I want to tell you is that, see, this expansion I can write in many different ways. Okay, what I can do, I can write like this also, that okay, 4C4, sorry, 4C0 A power 4, I can write like this also. Here you have 4C0 B power 4, but I can also write 4C0 A power 4. Why? What is the reason? Because this is 4C4 A power 4. These are same or not? Just focus on this. What is this value? This is 4C4 A power 4. What is 4C4? That is same as 4C0. So this same thing I can also write 4C0 A power 4. This is what I'm saying, 4C0 A power 4. Okay, is this clear? 4C0 A power 4. Similarly, this I can rewrite. I can write it 4C1 A power 3 B power 1, because 4C3, that is same as 4C1. So I can write it 4C1 A power 3 B power 1. So what I'm saying is that you can also write like this, that 4C0 A power 4. Then now you do 4C1 A power 3 B power 1. So the power of A will decrease, power of B will increase. 4C2 A power 2 B power 2. 4C1 A power 1 B power 3. And finally, sorry, 4C3. You can see 4C3 A power 1 B power 3. And finally 4C4 B power 4. All these are same. Do you agree with me? Both are fine. Okay, this is also fine, this is also fine, because anyway A plus B power 4 is same as B plus A power 4. That you already know. Okay, you can see A plus B equal to B plus A. NCR equal to NCn minus R. So both are fine. I hope you understood. Okay, so just give me the conclusion here. Let me give you the conclusion. This is, if you have A plus B power n, then how to do the expansion? You can do the expansion like this, that okay, you can start with NC0. NC0, if you start with A power 0, that is fine. If you have A power 0, then B power will be n. Okay, plus NC1, if you have A power 1, then B power will be n minus 1. NC2, A power 2, then B power will be n minus 2. And so on. If you have NCn, A power n, then B power will be 0. Okay, very simple. Or what you can do? You can also do like this, NC0, you can start with A power n, B power 0. The point is, either you can decrease the power of B, increase the power of A. You can see that we are decreasing the power of B and we are increasing the power of A in every term. Or what you can do, you can increase the power of B in every term and you can decrease the power of A in every term. So what you can do, you can also write like this, that NC1 A power n minus 1 B power 1 NC2 a power n minus 2 b power 2, and finally NCN a power 0 b power n. All are fine. Whatever you write, that is fine, because anyway a plus b power n, that is equal to b plus a power n. Okay, and that is equal to this. So this is the binomial theorem. I hope you understood. Is this clear? What is the binomial theorem? And this short expression is also very important. Remember, this short expression, this is much better to understand. What is a plus b power n? You already know that there are total n factors. Basically, you multiply total n times a plus b, a plus b, a plus b, a plus b, and so on. Total n times you multiply. Then here, some of these n factors will give you a, some of them, the remaining will give you b. So you can see some of them will give you a. Let's assume that k are giving you a, then the remaining n minus k will give you b. Okay, correct? Now you can see how many this type of terms can you create. That is very simple. From these n factors, I can choose k factors. They will give me a. The remaining will give me automatically b. Okay. So this is the term in the expansion. Remember, this is the term in expansion. Okay. And remember this k, the range. How many a's can you get? That is k. So how many a's can you get? That the range is from 0 to n. So you can see summation. This k will go from 0 to n. This is the short expression. Of course, the same expression you can also write like this, that this k is going from 0 to n, nck. You can also write that b power k, a power n minus k. Because anyway, a plus b power n, that is same as b plus a power n. NCR is equal to NCN minus r. So both are fine. Okay, this is also fine. But the important point is that the power of a plus power of b, that should be equal to n. Yes or no? This is the important point, that in every term, what will happen? In every term, the number of a, the power of a plus the number of b, the power of b, that should be equal to n. Because from these n factors, some of them will give you a, the remaining will give you b. Okay, so that is the reason. Remember that number of a plus number of b in every term, that should be equal to n. Here you can see the power of a plus power of b, that is n. Power of a plus power of b, that is n. Okay, so this is the short expression. Very easily you can see. So this is the binomial theorem that we have seen. This is a very easy theorem. These are the properties of the binomial expansion. If you do the expansion of a plus b power n, where n is any positive integer, 1 2 3 4 5 and so on, n can be 10, 1000, 100, anything. So first of all, how many terms will be there? That will be n plus 1, because you know from nc0 to ncn, correct? If you see this, look at here, you can see from nc0, we are starting from nc0, then nc1, and so on ncn. So from 0 to n, there are total n plus 1 term. We are starting with nc0 all the way to ncn. So from 0 to n, there are total n plus 1 terms. So this is what we are writing here. There are n plus 1 terms in the expansion of a plus b power n. And you can see every term has the same form. There will be some coefficient multiplied by power of a multiplied by power of b. Yes or no? Every term has the same form. Basically, every term has some coefficient will be there. Then there will be power of a and there will be power of b. Okay, yes or no? Power of a, power of b. And what will be this coefficient? That is very simple. From n factors, we can choose k, which will give me a. Okay, from n factors, k factors I can choose, which will give me a, the remaining will give me b. So this will be the coefficient. So this is what we are saying, that every term has the same form. There will be some coefficient multiplied by power of a multiplied by power of b. The another thing, in every term, the power of a plus power of b, that is equal to n. The summation of power of a and power of b, that will always be equal to n. This is the another property. And the next property, that is, if you see the expansion, then what will happen? The a power will increase, then b power will decrease, or the a power will decrease, then b power will increase. So very simple, that the power of a will decrease term by term from n to 0, and the power of b will increase from 0 to n. Okay, yes or no? So in the expansion, what will happen? Very simple, that there are two type of expansion. Either the power of a, if you have a plus b power n, there are two type of expansion you can do. In one type of expansion, what you can do, you can start with a power n, so b power 0, all the way to a power 0 b power n. Or what you can do, you can start with a power 0 b power n, all the way to a power n b power 0. But the point is, in every term, the power of a plus power of b, that will be equal to n. In every term, what will happen? How many a's plus how many b's are there? That will be equal to n. So these are the properties of the binomial expansion a plus b power n. I hope you understood. Let's solve this question. What is the coefficient of x power 12 y power 13 in the expansion of x plus y power 25? So we have this x plus y power 25, and we want the coefficient of x power 12 y power 13. Very simple. Here, this type of term we are creating x power 12 y power 13. So you can easily see that how many ways are there to create this term. That is very simple. There are total 25 factors. Okay, from these 25 factors, you decide, you choose which 12 will give you x, and the remaining 13 will give you y. Yes or no? You can easily see power of x plus power of y, that is equal to 25. Okay, first of all, here you can easily see that 12 plus 13, that is equal to 25. Okay, so here remember the coefficient of x power 12 y power 13, that will be equal to 25c12. This will be the answer. And remember 25c12, this is same as 25c13. NCR is equal to NCN minus R. So the answer for this question, the answer will be, you can say either 25c12, you can say this is the answer 25c12, or you can say the answer is 25c13. Both are correct, both are same. Let's solve this question. What is the coefficient of x power 12 y power 13 in the expansion of 2x minus 3y power 25? You have 2x minus 3y power 25. First of all, you check, the question is asking what is the coefficient of this term. First of all, you check that in this term, what is the total number of x and y? Because remember, in the expansion of this term, in the expansion, every term will have 25 a's plus b's. Basically, every term, the number of a's plus number of b's, that will be equal to 25. That should be equal to 25. Or I can say the summation of exponent of a comma b, that should be equal to 25. So here you can see the summation of exponent of x comma y, that is equal to 25. Yes, so this term will exist in the expansion of this term will definitely exist. Now the question is asking what the coefficient of this. So here you can easily see that x power 12 y power 13. First of all, let me tell you here what you can do. You can consider this as a, and you can consider this whole thing as b. So first of all, you can rewrite this as, what is a? A is 2x, and what is b? B is minus 3y. So first of all, you can rewrite this as a plus b power 25. Okay, now what you want? Basically, you want x power 12 and y power 13. It simply means that you want a power 12, b power 13. So what will be the coefficient of this? That is very simple. That we want 12 a's and 13 b's. So from 25, you choose which 12 will give you a, the remaining will give you b. So this will be the coefficient of a power 12, b power 13. Now you can write what is a? A is 2x. So this is the coefficient. This is the coefficient, and you can see the a is 2x. So you can put a equal to 2x. So you will get 2x power 12, and instead of b, you can put minus 3y, that power 13. Okay, so finally the answer we will get, we want the coefficient of x power 12 y power 13. So we are going to get something like this: 25c12 multiplied by 2 power 12 multiplied by minus 3 power 13 multiplied by x power 12 y power 13. Okay, so your final answer, what is that? This is the final answer. You can see this value. This is the coefficient of x power 12 y power 13. This is the final answer. Okay, understood? Very simple question. These two questions you can study yourself. The answer is already given. Let me tell you what is binomial coefficient. This NCR, this is also called binomial coefficient. This is just another name for NCR. Remember, this NCR, we can also write it this NR like this. I told you that this is the symbol, this is the notation for NCR. This NCR, this is also called binomial coefficient. This is just another name for NCR. Nothing much. Let's solve this question. Determine the coefficient of x power 9, y power 3 in the expansion of these three terms. Okay, so let's see. Let's see the first one. In this A, x plus y power 12. Okay, in the expansion of this, first of all, you notice one thing. In the expansion of this, the number of x plus number of y, that should always be equal to 12. Okay, so is the number of x plus y equal to 12? Yes. Here you can easily see that number of x plus number of y, that is equal to 12. Yes. So definitely this term will belong to the expansion of this. Okay, so here you can see that we want x power 9, y power 3. So in how many ways can I create this term? That is very simple. From 12 factors, I can choose which 3 will give me y, or I can choose which 9 will give me x. So remember, there are total 12 factors. From these 12 factors, I can choose which 9 will give me x, the remaining will give me y. Remember this 12C9, this is same as 12C3, NCR equal to NCN minus R. So the answer is 12C9, or you can say the answer is 12C3. Both are fine, because the same question you can solve like this. You can decide that which 3 will give you y, the remaining will give you x. So from these 12 factors, which 3 will give you y? From these 12, I will choose 3, which will give me y. They will give me y, the remaining will give me x. So you can see the answer will be 12C9, or you can say the answer will be 12C3. Both are fine. Both are same. Let's see option B. B is x plus 2y power 12. Okay, so here what I can do, this x is fine. This 2y I can write it B. Okay, so what is B here? B is equal to 2y. So this I can write it as x plus b power 12. Okay, now here we want x power 9 and y power 3. Because we want y power 3 and x power 9, so basically we want x power 9 and b power 3. So what will be the coefficient of this? That is very simple. From these 12 factors, you decide which 3 will give you b. From these 12, I will choose 3. They will give me b. The remaining will give me x. Okay, so this is what we got. Now this same value you can write it as 12C3 multiplied by x power 9. What is b? B is equal to 2y. So it will be 2y power 3. The question is asking the coefficient of x power 9, y power 3. So your final answer will be 12C3 multiplied by 2 power 3 multiplied by x power 9, y power 3. Here you can easily see this will be the answer. This is the coefficient. This is the coefficient of x power 9, y power 3. Very simple. What about the last one? This C, that is 2x minus 3y power 12. 2x minus 3y power 12. So here what you can do, first of all, you can assume that this is A and you can assume this is B. So what is A? A is 2x, and what is B? B is minus 3y. Okay. Now you can easily write it A plus B power 12. Here you want the coefficient of A power 9, B power 3. The coefficient of A power 9, B power 3, that will be from 12 factors. There are 12 factors. I can choose 3. They will give me B. The remaining will give me A. Okay. Now here I can write it 12C3. This A is equal to 2x. So that will be 2 power 9 x power 9. And B will be equal to minus 3y. So that will be minus 3 power 3 and y power 3. So your final answer, that will be 12C3 multiplied by 2 power 9 and minus 3 power 3. This x power 9, y power 3. So remember, this is going to be the answer. Very simple. So like this, you can solve all these questions. Okay. Let's solve this GATE Chemical 2023 question. The coefficient of x power 4 in this polynomial x minus y cube, x minus 2 cube is equal to. Very easily you can solve this question. See, first of all, you have x minus 1 cube, x minus 2 cube. Here, because these power are very small, like cube, so you can directly apply the formula. We already know what is a plus b cube. A plus b cube, what that will be? That will be equal to a cube plus 3ab square, 3a square b plus 3ab square and plus b cube. Okay, correct. So you can just apply this. So here what we will get, this expression we are getting this x minus y cube, x minus 2 cube, that will be equal to, so tell me what will be x minus 1 cube, that will be equal to x cube plus 3x square, so that will be minus 3x square plus 3x and minus 1. Okay, this is what you are going to get. This will be x minus 1 cube multiplied by x minus 2 cube, that will be equal to x cube minus 3x square into 2, so that will be like 6x square plus 4 into 3, that will be 12, 12x and minus 8, minus 2 cube, that will be minus 8. Okay, so now you can easily solve it. Here what we want, we want the coefficient of x power 4 in this. In this, how to get the x power 4 coefficient? Only focus on creating x power 4. I want to create x power 4. If I want to create x power 4, then this x power 3 I can multiply with x, I will get x power 4. Or this x power 2 I can multiply with x power 2, I will get x power 4. Or this x I can multiply with x cube, I will get x power 4. What about this one? Tell me, to whom I should multiply so that I get x power 4? None of them. Yes or no? So that's it. So you can easily see this x power 3 I can multiply with this 12x. So I will get 12x power 4. Correct. Next, this minus 3x square I can multiply with minus 6x square. So I will get 18x power 4. And this 3x I can multiply with x cube. So I will get plus 3x power 4. Okay, so the coefficient of x power 4, only focus on x power 4. So the coefficient of x power 4, that will be equal to 12 plus 18 plus 3, that will be 33. Okay, so the answer will be 33. The coefficient of x power 4 is 33. This is GATE Chemical 2023 question, very easy. Let's solve this question. Determine the coefficient of x, y, z square in x plus y plus z power 4. This is not a binomial because binomial is summation of two terms. Here we have three terms, so this is not a binomial, but you can convert this into binomial. Okay, here we have x plus y plus z power 4. What you can do? You can consider this as b. Okay, consider this as b. So finally what you got? You got x plus b power 4. Correct? Understood? Now in this x plus b power 4, what we want? We want x power 1. Okay, and the remaining thing. So we want x power 1, remember. I want x power 1. So if I get x power 1, then how much power of b I will get? If I'm getting x power 1, then power of b will be 3. And you can see what will be the coefficient of x power 1, b power 3. That is very simple. There are 4 factors. From these 4 factors, I can choose one, which will give me x. The remaining will give me b. Okay. Now here what I can do, this b is basically same as, it is 4c1 multiplied by x. What is b? B is same as y plus z. That you already know because b is same as y plus z. Okay. So this is y plus z power 3. Now what we want? Now we want y power 1, z power 2. Okay. So here, remember, in this we want y z power 2. This is what we want, y z power 2. So that is very simple. What we will get? Already we have 4c1 x power 1, or I can say x. And here we want y z power 2. So if you have y z power 2, then what will be the coefficient of yz power 2? That will be, there are three factors now. From three factors, you choose which one will give you y, the remaining will give you z. So from three, you choose one which will give you y, the remaining will give you z. Okay, that's it. So what will be the coefficient of x, y, z power 2? The answer will be 4 into 3. Yes or no? 4 into 3, that will be 12. So the answer will be 12. I hope you understood. Is this point clear? So basically this is not a binomial, but you can convert into binomial. You can consider this y plus z as equal to b. So this will become x plus b power 4. Then we want x power 1. So focus on x power 1. Then you can see, you can replace this b with y plus z. Now, what we want? We want y power 1. So focus on y power 1. Very easily you can solve it. Now we are going to see some properties of binomial coefficients. I told you what is binomial coefficient. This NCR, this is called binomial coefficient. NCR means n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. So this NCR, this is another name, that is binomial coefficient. Now let's see some properties. But first you tell me, what is 1 plus x power n? What is the expansion of 1 plus x power n? You can very easily do this. This will be NC0. NC0, that is equal to 1, right? NC0 is equal to 1. So let me directly write it 1. So it's like this. NC0 x power 0 and 1 power n. Yes or no? Because this term is 1. So it will be NC0 x power 0, 1 power n, plus NC1 x power 1, 1 power n minus 1, and so on. NCn x power n, 1 power 0. So tell me, what is the expansion of 1 plus x power n in simple words? You can see this NC0, this will become 1. X power 0 will become 1. 1 power n will become 1. So everything is 1. So this will be 1 plus NC1. 1 plus NC1, and this is x, plus then NC2, then x square, plus then NC3, x power 3, and so on. Finally, NCn x power n. Okay, this is the expansion of 1 plus x power n. Now, very simple question I am asking you. You let me know. If I put x equal to 1, then what I will get? Put x equal to 1. What you will get? Let me know. On the LHS, you will get 2 power n. 2 power n is equal to, on the RHS you put x equal to 1. If you put x equal to 1, then basically you are going to get this. I can write NC0, right? I can write NC0 plus NC1 plus NC2 all the way NCn. So that's it. This is the result we got. You can see that the summation of binomial coefficients, that is 2 power n. The summation of binomial coefficients, the summation of all the binomial coefficients from 0 to n, like NC0 to NCn, that will be 2 power n. So this is a knot. This is a knot. Remember that the summation of binomial coefficients, the summation of binomial coefficients, that is equal to what? That is same as basically NC0 to NC0 plus NC1 plus and so on plus NCn. Okay, this summation of binomial coefficient, that is equal to 2 power n. I hope you understood. It's like this. The summation of NCR, where r is going from 0 to n, r is going from 0 to n, this summation of binomial coefficients, this is 2 power n. Very simple. I hope you understood. Okay, if you put x equal to 1, you can easily see. This is the proof. Now let's see another interesting proof, that is, if you put x equal to minus 1, then what we will get? Now what you do, you put x equal to minus 1. What we will get? Let me know. If we put on the LHS, if we put x equal to minus 1, we will get 0. 0 is equal to, this is NC0. Now if I put x equal to minus 1, then it will be minus NC1 plus NC2 minus NC3 plus NC4 minus NC5 and so on all the way to NCN. Okay, so alternative plus minus plus minus plus. Yes or no? Alternative plus minus plus minus plus minus and so on. But the RHS, the other side, the other side is 0. Okay. So now here what you do, you just take all these negative values, all these you take on the LHS. So what you are getting, if you take these, all these on the LHS, then what we will get? Notice we are going to get something like this, that NC0, NC2, these are the positive. Basically, all the positive coefficients, the summation of all the positive coefficients, that will be equal to the summation of all the, sorry, the summation of all even coefficients. The summation of all even coefficients, that will be equal to the summation of all odd coefficients. NC1, NC3, NC5, and so on. I hope this point is clear. So we got another important result, that is this. Another important result we got, that is basically the summation of all even coefficients, even binomial coefficients like NC0, then NC2, then NC4, and so on. The summation of all even binomial coefficients, this will be equal to the summation of all odd binomial coefficients, NC5, and so on. Okay. For example, let's assume that n is equal to 7. Let's take n equal to 7. Now in this situation, what I can say, all the summation of positive coefficients, that will be equal to NC0 plus NC2 plus NC4 plus NC6. This will be equal to the summation of all odd coefficients, that will be NC1 plus NC3, NC5, NC7. Okay, is this point clear? Very simple. So this is what I am saying, that the summation of all even binomial coefficients will be equal to the summation of all odd binomial coefficients. Okay, is this clear? Because you are putting n equal to 7. So we are taking n equal to 7. So it's like this, that 7C0, 7C2, 7C4, 7C6 is equal to 7C1, 7C3, 7C5, 7C7. Okay, very easy. Understood? So all these results we have seen. So there are two results that we have seen. The first is the summation of all binomial coefficients, that will be 2 power n. The second is the summation of even coefficients, even binomial coefficient will be equal to the summation of odd binomial coefficients. Okay, very easy. I hope you understood. So these are the results that we have seen. You can see the summation of all binomial coefficients from NC0 to NCN, the summation of all binomial coefficients, that is 2 power n. And this is the another result we got, that is the summation of even binomial coefficient is equal to the summation of odd binomial coefficients. Okay, so that's it. This is our chapter. So we have seen in this lecture, we have seen binomial coefficients. Also we have seen permutation with combination. We have seen a lot of problems, all the variations and everything we have seen in this lecture. I hope you understood everything. Please share your feedback in the comments. Okay, let me know, did you understand each and everything? So please share your feedback in the comments. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone.